In 2017, she passed away
it was
because
true.
of cancer.
So yeah, we're just gonna
Call
start
me
rolling in
because
like this
I dread
now.
to think what would have
I'm
happened
definitely
if I
gonna
wasn't
just
there.
run through the whole compilation that it has. So we're just gonna start doing this, man.
This incident
I'm pissed
took
right now,
place in
though.
Dubai
I'm pissed.
when I was 10.
Like
I
I'm
used to go to
frustrated
my friend's
myself because
apartment
I
to
should
play
be
with him at the
uploading
time of vacation.
every single day,
One day, as
almost
usual, I
damn
went
near
to his
every
room to
single
play.
hour too. But
After
I'm
playing
not.
for a long
I
time,
don't know
I
why,
went to the
and it's
bathroom.
really frustrating me right now.
While I was washing my face off and other things suddenly started to fall down. I was surprised. I thought maybe it was because of wind, but when I checked the surroundings, I found out there wasn't any window in the bathroom. I got out and told my friend the incident. He told me that there's a ghost in his room. I freaked out. At first, I didn't believe him.
I mean, none of you guys believe in ghosts
next,
out here.
His mother and father explained the paranormal activities which had taken place there since they moved into that place. His father was making a burrito in the kitchen one day, and suddenly a call came for him. He kept the burrito on the stove and attended the call. After attending the call, when he came back, he was surprised to find out that the burrito was burning down in flames from the stove.
Nah, man,
but
you're just a bad cook.
Definitely sure
You're just a bad
that he
cook,
hadn't turned
bro.
on the stove
It's all right.
yet.
Take the L.
Another day, while his mother was cooking food, suddenly she felt as if someone was choking her by holding her throat from behind.
Oh, damn.
And she fled out of the kitchen with a scream. The same day, while they were sleeping at night, they heard sounds from the bathroom. And when they checked it out, they found all the things, such as bottles of toilet cleaner and other things, had been scattered inside the bathroom. And that story made me suddenly freeze.
That's crazy.
This was the exact same incident which occurred to me.
When?
They had called some group of ghost hunters and did some sort of rituals and found out that 2 people had been murdered by someone. To know if this was true, they went to the flat owner.
No.
And he said just the same thing like the ghost hunters and apologized for giving them this room.
Damn. And it was a
They moved
friend
out
that
the next day
freaked
after my
out
visit to
too.
their house. Well, to this day, I still wonder what would have happened to me if I had stayed there for some more time.
Shit. My old haunted house.
My name is Max. I live in the center of the city now. But a few years
Wow.
back, I lived in an old house on a
This
somewhat
man low-key
sketchy
slid in
street.
that he made it.
But that doesn't mean I was poor. The house was ugly from outside, and it was built before World War II, but clean, warm, and cozy inside, although many people died in it there. I always believed in ghosts because of all the weird incidents that happened. Like one time,
I believe
at night,
in ghosts, man.
me and my mom were sitting in a room. It was pitch black outside the room we sat in.
Like, I believe, if
Suddenly,
you believe that
we
there's
heard someone
good
was
as
tripping
well,
over, falling
like
in the
there's
kitchen.
also the
We
negatives.
also heard things like plates falling.
You gotta
down and
avoid
shattering.
that.
But when we walked outside, nothing was there. Everything was in its place, and we were so scared about what was going on.
Freddy Krueger?
A few years later, I had a dream. Me and my mom were walking down a path, and suddenly we stopped, and I heard a voice saying, "Bridge." I felt something knocking on my back 3 times, and I woke up scared. Nothing was there, so
What did it
I
mean,
didn't think
though?
of it that much and went back to sleep. However, after that night, this dream appeared again and again. The voice said various things that I don't remember, and one time it said something about my mom's death.
Damn.
It always ended with something knocking on my back 3 times.
You got hypnotized with
It
that,
was
with
creepy.
that knock.
One time, me and my mom sat in a room and talked about ghosts, and I told her about what I'd been dreaming. Mom went silent for a second, and she confided in me that once she was sitting with a friend, and he said something not too nice to her, just for fun. She got angry and
Did he
screamed,
tell her
"Shut
about
up,"
her
in
death?
a male voice, and she didn't remember that. When she described the
Or
voice,
he
it
just
reminded
told a
me that the
story,
voice sounded
like,
just like the voice
in
in
the
my
beginning.
dreams. In 2017, she passed away
it was
because
true.
of cancer. She died in the same room, in the same house where I got those nightmares.
Oh,
After that, I moved out to another place a few years ago.
bro.
So I don't live in that house
Bro, that's
anymore.
giving me goosebumps,
But I
man.
still believe in ghosts, that they exist, and they are real.
true airport horror story.
It was the spring of 2017. I was flying out to Chicago for a job interview.
Katie
It
was
was
still with
around
the
11
Warriors.
p.m. and I was sitting in my gate
Oh, no,
at the
he
San
just
Francisco
has
International
signed
Airport.
With the Warriors,
A
yeah,
storm was
2017.
raging outside. Rain pouring down the windows as everyone was bundled up on the seats and keeping to themselves. I was just scanning the rows of people in seats sleeping, on laptops or phones, and wearing earbuds before I noticed this one guy. He was sitting in the farthest corner of the gate by the corridor, with no one else sitting around him. He was
And
not
no
on
one
his
else
phone
peeps
or
him?
wearing headphones like everyone else. He has this huge, crooked grin plastered on his face, and he's staring directly at me. He looked pretty average in terms of looks and what he was wearing. But that grin was so creepy, it was beginning to make me shit bricks. Naturally, I turned away and pretended I hadn't seen him.
Yeah, he does look like a
But
weirdo.
the fact that he was staring at me made me continuously turn to eye him back without realizing. Eventually, they called our gate and I boarded the plane. I took my seat in the business class right by the window and went on my phone, checking Instagram and texting friends. I did not see the creepy man boarding. An hour later, we were up in the sky.
Yo,
Sometime
what?
through the flight,
Nah,
I got
don't tell
to
me
his
he in there.
bathroom, and as I was finishing up in there, someone knocked on the door. I called out,
No.
"Occupied," but the person continued knocking
Don't
repeatedly
answer it, bro.
and aggressively.
Don't answer it.
As I was washing my hands, I ignored it, hoping it would go away, but it didn't.
She about to curse him out, man.
So I opened the door to
Shit.
make some ballsy remark, but froze when I saw who was in front of me. It was that guy from the airport, still with that creepy grin plastered on his face. Quickly, I pushed past him and walked to my seat, not glancing behind me. The rest of my flight went normal except for the
Yo,
fact that I couldn't
just
get him
confront
off
him.
my mind. As soon as we landed in
Be
Chicago,
like, what, bro?
I was the first to get my suitcase down from the overhead luggage, and the first off of that airplane. I called an Uber as I walked to the airport parking lot. It was 12 p.m. in Chicago. The Uber came and I drove to my hotel. And as I checked into my room, I realized something horrible. My wallet was missing. I don't know where I could have left it, so I called the airport and asked them to search the plane. They did so and got back to me a few hours later saying they found nothing. I drove back to the airport and spent the whole rest of the day searching and turning up nothing.
I would be
My
so
only
mad,
theories
man.
were I had somehow left it at San Francisco, or
It
it had
sucks
been
too
stolen.
when you lose your wallet.
I was able to recover
if you can't
and spent
recover
3 more
it,
days walletless.
Bro, you're gonna have
in
to get a new
Chicago.
license.
But you know
cancel all your
what?
cards.
Here's the scary part.
Bruh.
When
it's
I got back
annoying.
to San Francisco and drove to my house, I discovered
happened?
something disturbing. My door was unlocked, and my entire house was trashed.
Oh,
Everything had been broken,
man.
and anything worth
Did
a
they
slight
take
amount of
anything?
value had been taken.
Oh, man.
I checked my security footage and was able to identify the intruder
Oh, it's
as
the
the
dude.
grinning man from the airport who, sure enough, had my wallet and
Typical,
therefore
man.
my
Typical.
keys. I called the
Aw,
police who
man.
found his fingerprints
Feel
all
sorry
over
for
my
baby
house.
girl.
The only scary thing was that the prints did not match anyone on record.
Damn. Yo, he worked there.
The creepy stalker.
Damn, bro. What a
On
twist.
Saturday at 11:30 a.m., I
It's been
invited
bangers,
my friend
low-key.
Sophia to come to my house, just a general hangout. She came to my house at 12:25 and everything was going normal when we was talking in my room. As we were hungry then, we decided to go out, so we bought some snacks and walked to the park, which is next to the shops. When we about to leave from the park and just
Yo,
walked across
this
the
beat
road,
is hard.
I saw a white car.
Yo.
I thought it was passing by, but the car just slowed down next to me and one guy opened the window. He was
Yeah, I'm not ready
almost
for that
35
yet.
to 40-year-old Pakistani man. He asked me, "Are you okay?" with a perverted grin.
Yo, he looks like he needs some
Then
sleep,
he said
bro.
to me, "Come here,
Are
come
you
here.
okay?
I want to talk to you." And I said no, while looking at the back seat of the car to see if he has anyone with him that will harm us. But luckily, he didn't. The guy said, "Please, I want to talk to you," while he was licking his fingers and staring at me. Then he made such a nasty hand gesture. I felt very angry and disgusted. Sophia whispered to me, "Let's go, he's creep."
For real,
As me and
man.
my friend walked away from the car and went to a different path, which is next to the shops, he followed
Get
us
somebody to
and
knock his
parked
teeth
next to
out.
me again. Then saying, "Why won't you speak to me? Come on, speak to me. Come here, please." Out of anger, I yelled and said, "Leave me alone, you weirdo." Then we saw him with a very evil and perverted smile. I grabbed Sophia's arm and ran inside the shop and hiding. I was calling my other friend Jahim and told him briefly what's going on. He kept saying call the police, but I thought it would be alright. Few more minutes later, we left the shop and
It's
walked
gonna
on the
be
same
alright.
path as that was the quickest way to go to my home.
Oh wait, no, we gonna
We
be
thought everything was
alright.
okay until she turned around and screamed, "He's
Yo.
following us!" There was the same white car.
Sometimes
So
you gotta make
scared.
yourself laugh, man.
My legs were shaking as we ran, and while I was running, I told Jahim on the phone, "He's following us!" and then said, "Go to the spider park." It was a small park that no car can park as there was houses around and which was right next to my house. I shouted, "Sophia, hide!" She hid behind the wall while I was hiding another place. As a result, the guy was still following but couldn't find us. He was roaming around the area.
Homie is
When he
actually not
disappeared,
giving up.
he went towards the
Like,
park
damn,
from a
bro.
small gate and finally went
Just
back to my
chill.
place. Once we arrived home, I told my family everything that happened and phoned the police, but the police didn't do anything about it. They just said, "We will use it as intel and update you, but we can't do anything right now," which made us feel so
I'm not surprised.
sad.
I'm not surprised.
However, the most scary thing came up next by Sophia, who reminded me suddenly about the incident I've told her a week ago. She said, "What if it is the same guy?" I said, "What do you mean?"
What incident?
Then she said, "You know, when you told me about the guy who knocked on your window while you was trying to sleep?" My mind froze.
Oh.
It was 3:00 a.m. in the morning. Luckily, I had curtains so he wouldn't see me, but I never forget the moment looking at the end of the curtain where the window was showing clearly and seeing a guy arm knocking on my window.
And you didn't
I
tell
remember
nobody?
rubbing my eyes to make sure that I wasn't imaging some demons, but no matter how much I rubbed my eyes,
Bro, go
the
tell your
figure
pops.
of the mysterious guy arm was still there. From that day on, I just stayed in my room feeling very scared for about 2 weeks.
Come on, man. You gotta be smarter
What
than
if
that.
He was the same guy knocking on my window.
He probably was. Oh, that's it. It's over. Something terrible just had happened at my... like right now?